Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show.
Rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airways and strap in as we
defend the Constitution, because freedom matters.
Broadcasting live from the Kida studio. Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show. And as always, I'm your host, Ho-Ho. So how y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. So we've got some stuff to talk about today. Yes, we do. We've got, in this first segment, is going to be like just a lot of stuff thrown together. I got like 5 different articles I'm wanting to do on this first segment. That's kind of a lot. More than what I usually do in a single segment. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right into it with this article from Just the News. Headline: Texas governor says that he wants to eliminate property taxes. That sounds like an amazing idea to me. Yes, it does. Now, I know that they do a lot with property taxes, and one of the bigger things is with education. You know, that's where they get a lot of funding for public schools, education. But I got to admit something that I don't like the idea of property taxes, you know, because property. Ooh, I forgot to do something. I did, because that thing is going, you know, hold on a quick second. Let me do something here right quick. I ain't going to be but a minute, if that. And let me play a little something. Let's do this. All right. Quick minute. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. I gotta grab something, or ungrab something. Yeah, anyway. That's funny. All right. And hello, Josh, over there in YouTube land. Good to see you. He says, what's up, Ho-Ho? Not much. I forgot to do something rather early in the show, because I forgot to turn off the air conditioner, and that thing was driving me nuts, hearing that thing in my headphones whenever I was trying to talk and whatnot. So now it's way quieter in here. I'm liking this. All right. Anyway, let's get back into this article. So we're talking about this article here from, I got to turn that off, and okay, there. This article from justthenews.com, that Greg Abbott is wanting to eliminate property taxes. Now, again, I know that they do a lot of different stuff with property taxes. It's not just property, you know, whatever. But the reason why I have issues with property taxes is because it's a never-ending tax that just keeps going and going and going. And, you know, the amount they're going to tax you is an arbitrary thing, okay? It's got nothing to do with anything. You know, some states, they want to go inside your house inventory thing, kind of do an assessment on the property with the amount of stuff that you own in there. It's rough worth, and that's how they want to do that. and they'll just make up a number if you don't let them in, just basically wanting you to give them free access to your house and everything else. And of course, I have issues with that as well. But my issue is because this is the only area that a tax is a never ending thing. And especially whenever you're talking about something as fundamental, something as American, something that is, just the basic dream of what it is to be an American, be it a property owner, own your own piece of land. You can't technically do that here in America. You can't do it. So I have issues with that. You buy a car, property, or you buy a car, you're taxed for the sale. Yes. Josh puts in there, goes, we definitely need to eliminate property taxes because no one should have to pay for something that they already own. Exactly. Now, I mean, granted, with the car, we'll go back to cars. We're going to go back to cars. Let's start with everything else. Everything else. You buy a computer, sales tax. You buy it once, you're done. A phone, a mixer, whatever it is you're buying, food at the grocery store. You pay the tax once, sales tax, and you're done. I mean, you might have taxes associated with like a cell phone bill. You got to pay your monthly bill for whatever. And there's going to be taxes associated with that too. Yes. But the fact of the matter is for, whatever thing that you buy, these, you spend the money. There's a tax associated with it. You pay the tax. You pay it once and then you're done. You own it. It's yours. It's not an aspect of they can take it from you. Now, I mean, granted, with cars, it's a little different, right? Cars, you have the sales tax that you're paying for, but there's also licensing involved in that. And I mean, granted, you don't pay your licensing. What do? Do they confiscate the car? No. They give you a ticket. You got to pay a fine. And I mean, granted, you have the forced thing and to participate in with, you got to buy insurance on it or you can't drive it, which is, just, I hate that too. You're forcing me to buy a product in order to drive I got a story I got to tell you. I got to share with you this. And this is an issue that I have whenever it comes to insurance, vehicle insurance, because I had a 1994 Chevy, what the heck was it? Small truck, Chevy S10. There we go. 94 Chevy S10. And I was changing insurance from that to a 1984 GMC Suburban. No, I'm sorry. The other way around. An 84 GMC Suburban to a 94 Chevy S10. Okay. And it was liability only on both of them. It's not like it was full coverage. It was liability only from the Chevy S10. And then it was liability only on the GMC Suburban. This sucker was huge, It was a 6-door because it had the doors in the back. It wasn't just a one huge door. It was the dual door in the back. So you had 2 front, 2 for the back, and then 2 big ones. There you go. In the very back, And my insurance went up. And I'm like, wait a second. Why is my insurance going up? There's like, well, because you're going from a 1984 to a 1994. I go, yeah. And this is liability only. I'm not paying full coverage. It's like, well, yeah. I go, but I'm going from a Chevy S10 to a GMC Suburban. It's like, yeah. I was like, I'm going from a freaking Prius to a tank. It's like, this is liability insurance. You're not insuring the vehicle. You're insuring the damage I'm going to cause to somebody else's vehicle. Why is my insurance going up? I'm going to do far less damage with the Chevy S10 than what I'm going to do with that GMC Suburban. I couldn't do much with the Chevy S10. It was ridiculous. I'm like, what the heck? Anyway, that was my insurance story. But even as ridiculous as that is, it's still you pay the tax, you pay the sales tax, you pay it once, and then you're done. With property taxes, it goes a little different. Because even after you've paid the mortgage, you've paid your bill, which there's taxes including in that as well, you still have to pay the property tax year after year after year. And if you don't pay the property taxes, do you get a fine? Yeah, probably. Do you get notification if something bad's going to happen? Yeah, probably. But they take your property. They take it. Confiscate it, period. And they do with it whatever it is they want to do with it. Now supposed to, they're supposed to sell it. Whatever you owe, they're supposed to take what they sell. Well, after they sell it, they're supposed to, give you what's left over after your, taxes are paid in full, whatever that balance is. And in fact, there was a Supreme Court hearing, not that terrible, like last week, maybe the week before, I don't remember. But it was a unanimous decision by the Supreme Court. And it was, that very thing actually happened. There was a gal, an older lady that lived in a nursing home, and property taxes weren't paid. And I believe she owed it was either $2,000 or $4,000. I don't remember quite how much it was. They seized her property, they sold the property, and they sold it for way over the amount that she actually owed. She owed it was either $2,000 or $4,000, and they sold it for $40,000 is what it amounted to. So they made a lot of money off of it. And whatever jurisdiction that this happened in, they just decided they were going to keep the money, all of it, just keep it, But the Supreme Court came back in a unanimous decision. All of them agreed that, there's not something quite right about that. So, that's at least a good thing that came out of that. That wasn't in Texas. I forget where that happened at. I don't remember. Point is, I'm not a fan of property taxes. Why? Because it's never ending. If you don't pay your taxes, they seize your land. And that's why you got to ask yourself the question, is there really land ownership in the United States of America? Can you actually own land? Because if your ownership of property is based off of you going to government to give them money every single year, every single month, every single whatever, do you truly own it if they can just come and take it from you all willy-nilly? Do you truly own land in the United States if you have to still pay money to them? I would argue that no, you don't own it. You're basically paying an exorbitant, it's almost like you buy the home and you're renting the property it sits on, and you have to pay a renter. You got to pay for it every single year in the form of property taxes. But it's not like a mobile home where, you don't pay the property tax and you can just move the home. It's not, it doesn't really happen like that, So, it's like, no, you don't truly own your home here in America. Let's move on. We're going to get into something else. We are totally changing directions with this one. Holy crap. This headline is from 24/7 Wall Street. You're going to love this one. The states where mass shootings happen the most. Yeah. We're talking about mass shootings. And more so, it's associated with, school shootings is where I'm technically going with this. Okay. And I actually looked this one up. I read into this, that little thing right there, the worst mass shootings in the U.S. last year, didn't really have anything. It was an article about it, but no information is actually in this article. I was actually kind of disappointed in this thing. The only things that it gives in here was that there's not really a correlation between, gun laws versus mass shootings in that state. But anyway, we're talking, we're talking school shootings. That's where we're going with this, school shootings, okay? You have the men and women in Congress, whenever they are at, the congressional buildings. You have the president with Secret Service and all of the security around there. No matter where the president is, you got the VP, you've got all kinds of people, and they are defended. And they are defended by guns. And they stay relatively safe, for the most part. I mean, yeah, there's been assassinations and assassination attempts, but for the most part, the men and women that are in charge of defending these people, they got a really good track record. Let's just put it that way. We got a pretty good track record. But one of the things that is a big deterrent is, that if you try to do something, they are defended by people with guns and something bad's going to happen. It's kind of like F around, find out. That's more or less what it amounts to, So we know an effective way to keep criminals at bay. Actually rhymed. So why don't we use this same logic with protecting our children? Why is it that the same means by which to defend politicians, the president, all these other people, Hollywood actors and actresses, why is it that we don't use that same amount of common sense in answering the question of how do we defend our children at school? And the answer is simple. With guns. I mean, we know, don't we? Don't we know that having a gun-free zone doesn't actually help? Especially whenever you post it. I mean, all you're doing is telling the criminals, hey, by the way, you come in here and there's nothing going on, okay? One of the most recent shootings, it was, the criminal went past a few different locations before they finally fell on the one that they ultimately committed the crime at. And it was there was too much security. There was, people with guns. There was, measures that were taken to keep bad people out so that this way the children could be, could be at peace, have a little bit more security and whatnot. And it was like, So that this person went past several different places that were, had security, protections in place to keep out criminals. And they landed on one that did not have any measures, or at least the measures that they had were very poorly implemented. So why don't we protect our children with guns? Now, some places do. In all honesty, there are places that do have, teachers, some members of faculty, that are, some of them plain clothes, some of them not, off-duty police officers and whatnot, that they do have guns protecting our children in some schools. And it's amazing that in the schools where they have done this at, they haven't had any mass shootings. I forget the number of schools, various states, that actually do have armed faculty, armed security, off-duty police officers that are there, both in uniform and not in uniform. There is several, and every single one of them, since the time they implemented this, none of them has had any mass shootings. Now, I mean, here's the thing, and even in this article, it states the same thing, that it's really hard to define a mass shooting because depending on where you're getting your news from, your information from, they define it differently. So it's really hard to get exact numbers on this. And in which case, you know, if a shooter is stopped during the progress of his crime, and it doesn't reach the numbers that is needed in order to be called a mass shooting, well, then a mass shooting never actually took place. So you don't even really get good numbers on that kind of stuff anyway. Just saying. When somebody goes into a place and they're stopped short of fulfilling their desire of killing a lot of people, well, it doesn't really rise to the level of mass shooting, which is a good thing. Definitely. Moving on. We kind of got two stories right here that I don't want to say go hand in hand, but they are about the border. Stuff that's going on at the border. Now, this article, the first one we're going to talk about, is from Peacock News Channel 8. I never do remember what it is. It doesn't matter. Anyway, headline. Why Trump's threats to birthright citizenship sparks fear. Oh, yeah. They're talking about this one. Had to take a drink. All right, now, in all honesty, I don't see this happening. I really don't, because if I remember correctly, this is a law type of a thing. The president doesn't have the authority to just completely wipe that away unless it was something that was done by the administration, a former president that wrote some type of an executive order. And then you have to hope that, even if it's something that's unconstitutional, goes against the law, that the Supreme Court or, the courts in general are actually going to abide by it. Kind of like whenever, President Trump tried to end the, whatever it was, DACA, I think is what it was. He ended something, an executive order that, Obama had done that was completely unconstitutional. And President Trump wrote an executive order reversing it. And the Supreme Court's like, look, we know it's an unconstitutional executive order. However, because it's so dang popular, you've got to uphold it. We don't care. It's unconstitutional. Doesn't matter. We're in for the illegals at this point. We have an agenda, and that's the way it's going to be. And that's what happened. Now, again, honestly, I don't really see as though this is actually we're going to see any end to birthright citizenship. I don't see that happen. I got a notification on my Alexa device. Oh, I shouldn't say that very loud. Okay, good. Still off. This is something that I haven't looked up the actual numbers on this. Okay. But I know, for instance, in Mexico, if a mother goes into into the United States from Mexico, a Mexican citizen, and has a child, Mexico does not consider that child, even though was born in the United States, an American. The Mexican government considers that baby Mexican citizenship. That's what that baby has. At birth, right then and there. Why? Because the mom was Mexican. And there's a lot of nations that actually have, that's their thing, right? That's kind of how they go off of it, Regardless of where you're at, the nationality of the parents determines the citizenship of the child. Regardless of where you are, regardless of the situation, regardless of anything, it just doesn't matter. You're still considered a citizen of your parents' country, home country. Only in America do they not. That's not just a given. And anchor babies is what they're calling them. I've been against that for quite some time. It's always been, something that was like, no, it's not right. Now, I mean, granted, if you want to give that child citizenship of America, okay, fine, but send them back home. That doesn't mean you let the parents in and they can take advantage of our hospitality. Not, all kinds of people doing that right now, but that's beside the point. But ending the birthright of citizenship, I like the idea. I really do. Why do we allow people to obviously skirt the system just because we see things different than any other nation on the planet? I mean, not every other nation. I'm sure that there's others that have jacked up stuff in place too, but I know for a fact that Mexico, however, is not one of them. They do it the way most people do. Why don't we do it that way? I don't get it. Moving on. The other one dealing with the border. Now, this one, again, is from justanews.com. I do like this place for news. Good source of news. But this headline is Border Patrol Union President blast the Biden administration for ending familia DNA testing at the border. Yes, you heard me correctly. Now, look, this is kind of one of them things that's like an issue, but yet a non-issue at the same time. Let me explain what I'm talking about. This is one of them things like with, child trafficking, child sex trafficking. This is something that goes on a lot down at the border. The numbers on this is absolutely ridiculous. It's been a while since I have heard them. I'm not going to recite to you now what they are. It doesn't really matter. Let's just say the number is huge. What we have happen a lot down at the border is we lose freaking kids. 80 some odd thousand a year, I think. I don't remember the number. I don't remember the time frame. It was a lot. Again, it was a lot. Just lost. We don't know where they are. We have no idea. We don't know how to find them, anything. So, I mean, yes, they were doing familial DNA testing at the border. They were doing that. But the problem was they do the test, they send the people on their way. Next thing you know, the results come back and, oh crap, we just sent that kid away with somebody that wasn't their parents. That happened all the freaking time. I'm actually kind of surprised that they continued to do the testing in the first place, considering how many people were walking away with kids that weren't theirs. They weren't family. We have a problem down at the border and they just want to ignore because, oh, well, it just makes people feel good about themselves. Okay. We have an issue at the border with sex trafficking, women trafficking, child sex trafficking, women's sex trafficking in general. We have problems down at the border, and it is largely ignored. It is a humanitarian type of a crisis, but they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to shed light on what is actually going on down at the border, and it is ridiculous. The amount of people dying down at the border. And that's not even to mention the drugs that's crossing the border. Our border is being run and controlled by the cartel. Period. It's not Mexico that's in charge of the border. It's not the U.S. that's in charge of the border. It's the cartel. Gee, it's the Mexico-U.S. border, and neither countries are in charge of the damn thing. Isn't there a problem with that? I kind of think there's a problem with that. Anyway, moving on. Talking about feel-good type of stuff, this headline is from BBC News. Solar panels, an eco-disaster waiting to happen. Because in their drive to go green. Oh, we got to go green. We got to go green. You know, we got to get rid of fossil fuels and that type of stuff. In the meantime, you know, it's ridiculous on a large scale, a huge scale. Because, you know, you have wind turbines. Okay, and things are freaking huge, right? Right. It's no small feat just to put them things up. Okay. The amount of space that you need between them is like a lot. You know, between each wind turbine. It's like a mile, I think. Because if you put them up any closer than that, the turbulence from one fan will, or turbine, you know, the thing, you know, the fan blades, it'll destroy the other. The turbulence of one will destroy another. So you have to have quite a bit of space between them. You have to clear out trees, everything. You know, you got to clear it out. The huge amount of concrete that is put down on that, holy crap. And you still need oil because you have to have oil in order to, you know, make these things run to where they don't just like catch fire. And, you know, those videos are kind of nice to, you know, they're kind of fun to watch, you know, things just going off. Holy crap. I've seen some entertaining ones. But the other thing is they are completely 0% recyclable. I think they're made out of what, fiberglass, if I'm not mistaken. Things are freaking huge, you know, truck driver. I've seen them going down the road a lot, you know. But they're completely 100% unrecyclable. So what do they do whenever they're done? Whenever they have to replace them for whatever reason. I don't know the lifespan of, you know, any fan blade, any, you know, just the tower in general, a fan blade in general. I don't know the lifespan of any one of them. What I do know is you have, you know, you have trash landfills and whatnot that are dedicated to the disposal of these things because you can't do jack diddly squat with them once they have lived out their life. Nothing with them. Unrecyclably, I just made up a word on that one. English, man. It's a bummer. But they're unrecyclable. You can't do nothing with them things, and they are like, oh, what are we doing here? You know? And solar panels, same thing. Can't recycle these things. You know, they're filling up landfills because they just, you know, yeah. Not to mention the batteries associated with having to use these things. You know, there's only limited things you can do with recycling a battery. You know, I mean, I'm not going to say that they're not recyclable, but there's very limited stuff you can do whenever it comes to disposing of a battery once it's dead. And that's not even talking about the whole aspect of where do these batteries come from? Where do these solar panels come from? Gee, because they're not being made here because Biden, in his infinite wisdom, did a 20-year moratorium, which doesn't mean jack diddly squat. We'll get into that later. But he did a 20-year moratorium on mining rare earth minerals, which are necessary for batteries. So here it's like, we're going to go green, but yet we're not going to produce any of this stuff ourselves. We're not going to produce the batteries. We're not going to produce the solar panels because a lot of the stuff necessary for these things are made somewhere else by countries that hate us. You know, there was a time not that long ago we were energy independent. Remember that time? It would be nice if that president was back. Whew. Anyway. Solar panels, an eco disaster waiting to happen. And again, this is another thing that I have no idea what the lifespan of these things are. I don't know. But they're not recyclable. I mean, I'm sure that some of the components, not really the components of them, But like, there's metal in that picker in there. Some of the stuff in there. There's metal in there. That's got to be recyclable, right? It's funny, right? That big push for the whole paper straws. Okay. And I had a conversation with somebody, and this was a kid that, and yeah, he was a kid. He was several years younger than me. And the kid was, and I'm sorry to say, he was a freaking idiot. And he was what is wrong with liberals that actually think like this, the environmental type people, okay? Because we were talking about paper straws. A lot of places were making a push for them. I drive up to Canada a lot. They did paper straws, and it's like, dude, okay, one, I hate the taste of crap coming out of a paper straw. It does not taste right. I hate it. Just, I don't like it. Have you ever had, first question, have you ever had to drink out of a paper straw? Have you ever drank something out of a paper straw? Did it taste right to you? It didn't taste right to me. It just put a weird aftertaste in your mouth, and not even an aftertaste. It put a weird taste in your mouth. I didn't like it. It just tasted bad. But here's the thing, okay, they went from plastic straws, which are recyclable. You throw them away, you recycle them in a bin, and there's a lot of places, that go through the trash and will separate stuff and make it for recycling. They do that. Josh Butcher goes, when I was a kid, we ran out water and electric off of a well in the yard for free. Yeah, you can do that kind of stuff. Dude, okay, here's something I heard a while back ago. This was coming out of Florida. I have no idea if they changed any laws or whatnot, but you can't live off the grid in a lot of places in America. And Florida is even one of them places. You can't do it. You have to be, even if you're not using the power, so to speak, you still have to be plugged in, which is weird. Because there was, I heard about a lawsuit from a gal that, she was living off the grid in Florida, and, they actually forced her to get tied into the electricity. And it was like, why? She doesn't need it. She has her own power. Why does she have to be tied into the thing? And it's like, because we said so. It's like, dude, you can't live off grid anyway. So you have plastic straws, completely recyclable. As in you use it once and it's not just dead. You can reuse it, repurpose it. There you go. All right. It's recyclable. And then you're going from that to a paper straw. And guess what? All right. Plastics. Where does that come from? Well, it comes from something from a tree. It's also a petroleum byproduct, if I'm remembering correctly. Because they want that money. You ain't kidding. They want that money. As in, why do they have to be tied into an energy, tied into the system, regardless of whether you're using it? Because they want that money. Anyway. But you have plastic, petroleum-based product, also with something that's like plant-based in there as well. I mean, like I'm pretty sure, I don't remember how they make plastics. I know there's petroleum-based stuff in there, and I also think there's plant-based stuff. So it's petroleum and plant-based stuff. But it's not like plant-based as in you cut down a tree and that's what you use. I mean, you put your tapper thing in there, and it bleeds, sap comes out, and that's the stuff that you're using in that. So it's not necessarily, you got to cut down a tree to make it. You just kind of cut the tree, and make it bleed a little bit, and that's how you get, the plastics. If I am remembering correctly, that's how they do it. I'm not, don't quote me on that. I might not be right. I don't know. And then you go from that to a paper straw. Well, you got to cut down a tree for that. Now here's the kicker. You cut down a tree, you would think that they can, the newspapers are recyclable. Yeah, paper in general is recyclable. I mean, you can mulch that stuff up. You can, shred it real fine. You can mulch it up. You can do some stuff to it and roll it flat, and you can make stuff with paper. Paper's recyclable. You can do stuff with it. It's not a use it once and you're done. But paper straws are not recyclable They're not recyclable. So you go from plastic straws, eco-friendly, to a paper straw to save the environment, but the paper straws are not eco-friendly. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. And this kid that I was talking with, he's like, well, that doesn't matter because you're doing something because it's a feel-good type of thing. I was like, but wait a second. If you're doing something for a reason that turns out to be completely false and you were lied to, then why would you still be doing it? That made no sense to me. He's like, well, yeah, you should still do that. You should still drink out of a paper straw, even though it's bad for the environment, even though it doesn't do what they claimed it was supposed to do. And you're supposed to continue to drink out of the paper straws to virtue signal that you're a good person, when in reality, you're an idiot. And he, he's a, yeah. Hence, what is wrong with a lot of liberals out there? They don't care whether what they are doing is right or wrong, as in they are actually doing what it is that they're claiming they're doing. It's about virtue signaling. Josh puts in there, he goes, it's all about the money. Yeah. They make a lot of money off of that kind of stuff. People to think that crap out. It's like with the carbon credits or whatever. It's another tax. It's another money redistribution scheme. That's all it is. With these freaking carbon credits, I've been carbon neutral since 20-something. Whatever, dude. Whatever. All about the money, yeah. Virtue signal. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we return, we are going to be talking about this whole debt ceiling thing. That's what we're going to go into in the next, yeah. Let me find a little something here. How about this one? There we go. Couple minutes, guys. I'll be right back. Do you love your occasional Mexican dish or your musical fruit? Are you tired of walking by family members and crop dusting them? Well, if this has ever happened to you, might I introduce you to Tampon's brand butt plugs. Tampon's brand butt plugs is that particular type of butt plug that allows you to walk in public in confidence knowing that you're not going to accidentally crop dust somebody. Tampon's brand butt plugs now with the plastic applicator.
Not just for women anymore.
Tampon's brand butt plugs. All right, and we are back. Yes, Tampon brand butt plugs. We're getting into that whole debt ceiling thing, and this actually brings us to the title of today's show, Blowing Smoke. Blowing smoke. It's not about Hunter Biden, although, you know, we know he blows smoke. And by the way, I got breaking news. Breaking news. This just ended. CBS News is eyeball news. NBC is peacock news. You know, I have issues remembering which one of them is the peacock and which of them is not, you know. So there you go. CBS is eyeball news. NBC is peacock news. And I know this because this is eyeball CBS News. This headline eyeball news. House passes debt ceiling deal and sends it to the Senate. Yes, we are getting into this whole debt ceiling thing. Blowing smoke. Because, you know, I got to be honest. Our leadership, y'all know this, all right? I'm not saying anything that y'all don't already know. Our leadership, as in Republicans, if you want to classify yourself as a Republican, it freaking sucks. You know, we got Mitch McConnell, who might as well be a freaking Democrat at this point. I mean, he might as well be, right? You know, he sucks. He sucks. No other way to no better way to put it. He sucks. You know, we've had just absolutely wonderful, wonderful House of Representatives. I mean, the last good one was Newt Gingrich. He was the last good Republican House Speaker that we've, House Majority Leader that we've had. And I was really hopeful, especially considering the fight, with Kevin McCarthy's rise to being Speaker of the House. I was hopeful. I really was. And, whenever this whole debt ceiling thing first started taking off, you had all of them got together, and they had their meeting, and they were like, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. Well, first, they had a meeting. Kevin McCarthy and Biden had a meeting, and it didn't go well. Because the Republicans wanted things, and the Democrats wanted things. And basically, it was, you ain't getting a raising of the debt ceiling without cutting spending. And good old Joe was like, well, I ain't cutting spending. You're just going to have to deal with it. You control one half of one branch of government. That's just not enough. You don't have any power. You ain't got jack diddly squat. I don't have to listen to you. You have to listen to me. And so for 97 days, Joe Biden was absent. Kevin McCarthy wanted to meet. Good old Joe said, nope. Didn't say jack, No, not going to happen. And then they came out with that first bill, after coming together, the Republican Party having a meeting and some compromises were made, and they were like, this is pretty good. It was like $4 trillion in savings over the course of, I don't even remember how many years, 10, I think, going back to 2022 spending levels. And there you go. It was with a 1% increase in spending until the debt was paid off. It was a good deal. You know, a lot of people were for it, including 43 senators, Republican senators, that agreed to vote for it if they could get it to the floor, which, Mitch McConnell was not for at all. He didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. It was a good deal, right? But I got to be honest though. I had a lot of hope, for McCarthy, for, how everything went down with him becoming Speaker of the House. It was nice. It was like, okay, finally, we'll actually not get anything accomplished, because I knew we weren't going to go anywhere, right? Because one half of one branch of government, we don't have the Senate. We have a small majority in the House. We don't have the presidency. The only thing that we can do is hold hostage dollar bills, and that's about the extent of it. And that's an if we can, keep our proverbial heads out of our donkeys and hold the line, stand together, whatnot. Basically, it wasn't going to happen. I had hopes, but I knew in the end it wasn't going to happen, because the Republican, I give so much credit to the Democrats. I really do. It doesn't matter. You are not going to hear a Democrat complain that, we only have one half of one branch of Congress. They're going to go, no, we got this. And they're going to fight tooth and nail. They're going to get in the end what they want. That's what the Democrats do. Republicans, no. We have way too many rhinos in the Republican Party. We can't get our collective head out of our collective donkey hindquarters. That is the problem with the Republicans. And rightfully so, you had every Democrat. You had mainstream media. You had, the Democrats that were in the House of Representatives. You had the Democrat senators that were there. You had the White House that were like, they're not going to get anything together and pass a bill on their own. They ain't going to do it. They're not going to be able to do it by themselves. They're going to have to get Democrat support, because they're not going to stay together as a caucus and actually get something done. Josh puts in here, he goes, it's hard to believe anything that either side says, because both sides are only about the money. Well, you're right on that, but at least, like I said, I got to give the Democrats credit though, because in all honesty, they'll say what they're going to do. They might not be honest about the outcome. But you get, in a matter of speaking, more truth out of a Democrat than what you do out of a Republican. Republicans do nothing more than blow smoke up your hindquarters. That's all Republicans do. We're going to, as soon as we're able to, we're going to reverse, Obamacare. Did they? No. They did resolution after resolution on votes that didn't mean jack diddly squat, but whenever the time came and they had the power to do something, did they get it accomplished? No. But again, I was hopeful. With how everything went down, I was hopeful, and they were on the right track. And whenever finally, they got out of their meeting and they got a bill passed, it wasn't as good as what we wanted. It wasn't as good as what it could have been, but at least it was on the right track. It was a compromise. They got it done. They passed the bill. It was a good bill. Send it on over to the Senate. It ain't going to pass the Senate, but who cares? We did our job. That's all the Republicans had to fall back on. We did our job. And whenever they got that bill passed, you had collectively every single Democrat, mainstream media go, oh shit. Because nobody thought they would actually be able to pull it off. And then you had finally, apparently, after that is whenever the negotiations happened. Behind closed doors. Nobody knew these negotiations were going on between Kevin McCarthy and President Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden wanted a one-page bill to raise the debt ceiling. He wanted a clean raise of the debt ceiling. He didn't want any crap. The Republicans wanted, we need a budget. We need to get spending under control. Now, I have heard a lot of mixed things reporting going on about the bill that they just got done passing with Democrat support in the House of Representatives, the new debt ceiling deal that they did. You know, and you got Biden saying I didn't give up any ground on the debt ceiling. I gave up some ground on spending and, the whatever. And boy, howdy, I've heard things, and it's like, I don't exactly know how to feel about some of this stuff, because it's like they raised the debt ceiling, but they didn't just raise the debt ceiling. See, that's actually a misconception. They took the freaking roof off. There is no debt ceiling. There is no cap on how much they can spend. There's a time frame. You have until 2025 to spend whatever the heck you want to. Go crazy. Do whatever you want to do. There is no limit on the financial aspect of this. It's not a number, it's a time frame. You have until 2025 to spend whatever you want. Why did they pick 2025? Because it would be an argument that they wouldn't have to have until after the election. We ain't got to talk about spending anymore. That's no longer a debate that's on the table. Wow. What a gift Kevin McCarthy gave to the Democrats and President Biden. Nice, isn't it? So there's no more debt ceiling until 2025. They say this is like a 1.5 trillion cut over the next 10 years, which I say bull hockey to, because, I mean, if you hear something like that, just who cares, right? It's a cut in over the next 2 years. But what does it do for the next year? Because the next Congress could come in and do something to reverse whatever it is that you just got done doing, so it doesn't matter. Over the next year, what kind of savings are we looking at? Are you getting the house in order is what I'm asking you. Does this bill get the house in order? Well, how? If you're going to tell me yes, then how? You just took away the debt ceiling. They're still going to be spending money. They can do whatever. Now, granted, this is a debt ceiling thing. This isn't about spending. This is about paying the bills. But there's no cap on anything. The restrictions that are on there are like, yeah, there's loopholes. All kinds of loopholes. They put loopholes in everything. So, I don't, you have people that are like, yeah, this is the best that we could have done. You got some people like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Why did he do this? Why did Kevin McCarthy agree to this crap? I don't know. But come September, October, maybe, I forget when they actually do the whole, spending bills. Because there's supposed to be, 12 appropriation bills? Now, they haven't done that in quite a while. It's been omnibus spending bills because, they're too freaking big in order for you to, actually read any of it. You don't even freaking know what all is buried in that large, huge piece of crap. But that's going to be the real test. You know, yes, this one was just about raising the debt ceiling, paying the bills, you know, which I still had issues with because look, you know, why, whenever we're going through a debt ceiling debate, is the president going, we're going to spend a bunch of money on this? Well, who the hell are you to say we're going to spend a bunch of money on something because you're not Congress? You're the president. Why are you trying to get us under the hook for more spending whenever we're having freaking issues as it is right now? He didn't care. Ridiculous. Debt spending crisis. And here he's just saying, we're going to pay for this. We're going to pay for that. We're going to do the other. We're going to just throw money everywhere because who cares? And that's what you had. It's like, well, what the heck? Saying he's going to use the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment doesn't do that. Did you read the damn thing? And apparently he didn't. I can do this because of the full credit of the United States of America. It says Congress right there. Congress has the power, not the president. Congress has the power, not the president. How are you going to do that? You ain't got the power. You ain't He-Man, Masters of the Universe. I have the power. No, you don't. You ain't got jack. Quit lying to people. But the real test is going to be the next spending bill that comes out. Now, according to the rules that they set up, they're not supposed to be able to do an omnibus spending bill. It's got to be the 12 separate appropriation bills. That's what they are supposed to be doing on this one. No amendments to be able to put onto it that aren't directly associated to the spending bills. You know, there's all kinds of rules that they put in there, you know, whenever Kevin McCarthy became Speaker of the House. So let's just see how that ends up playing out. You know, let's just see. I'm actually kind of curious on this one. But we got eyeball CBS News. House passes debt ceiling deal and sends it to the Senate. I have no idea what they've done on it. Last I knew, and this was like Thursday, but last I knew they were adding amendments to it and doing whatever that the Senate was doing. So who knows on that one? I don't know. I'm assuming it passed, but I don't know. This headline from the Washington Free Beacon: debt ceiling deal dooms Biden's tax and spend agenda. I'd kind of like to know how. You know, I'd like to know how, because even though they got some stuff put in there, but there's all kinds of loopholes that they put in there that, you know, why make a rule? And I'm being serious on this. I really have a question on this. I want to know. Why would you make a rule? Why would you make a law and have 100 different ways around it? Loopholes. Why would you do that? Why even make the rule in the first place? Why? They don't care about anything but their own pockets. And you are absolutely correct on that one, sir. That's why. Because somewhere, somehow, they're making money off of it. And that's why it continues to happen. That's it. Oh, what the heck did I just press? Anyway. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take one more quick break. When I return, we're talking Hunter Biden. And I'm going to get another drink because this is ridiculous. All right. So, yep, quick break. And then when I return, Biden, because that stuff is interesting. So we're going to talk about it. Just a couple minutes. I'll be right back and I'll hopefully sound better. Have you ever been so full of it your eyes are brown? Have you ever sat on the toilet but nothing comes out? Is a box of frosted shredded wheat just not doing the trick? Well, have I got the ultimate solution for you? Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse. See, Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse is that particular product that will break through the sphincter like the Kool-Aid Man through a brick wall. Oh yeah! No more irregularity, no more cramping, just good old nice flow. That's right, Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse. Please use responsibly and use at home. This is a fast-acting product now available in Tropical Punch. All right, and we are back. So yeah, I sound a little better. I had something before I started the show, and I got a little something, trapped in my throat that doesn't really want to go. It don't want to go anywhere. It just really doesn't. So it's been an annoyance the entire time. It's ridiculous. It's still there. I feel it. It's just a little tickle, something. Anyway. Hunter Biden, that is what we're talking about here. And more than just Hunter Biden, it's the entire, it's the Biden crime family. That's what we're going to be talking about. This headline right here from 1945, maybe? I don't know. Let me make sure that's off. It is. Hunter Biden is above the law. Now, I don't know if y'all have heard. Let me scroll down a little bit. Bam, there's a nice ugly bug. I don't know if y'all have heard, but the ATF decided they're not going to prosecute Hunter Biden because, well, he's got a clean record. I mean, he's not a criminal. I mean, he's not, this would be his first offense, So we're not going to go after him for anything. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with what it is I am talking about, he, Hunter Biden, whenever he decided that he was going to get a gun, he had to fill out I'm going to get a gun form. And on this form, it talked about, do you take illegal drugs, yada, yada, blah, blah. This, that, meth, marijuana. Do you take any of these drugs? And he answered with, no, I do not, and you got the wonderful Hunter Biden laptop where he's sniffing crack out of some hooker's belly button. And, he lied right there, didn't he? And then he disposed of the gun behind a restaurant, or had his girlfriend do it, that was so close to a freaking school, and law broke. Okay. But back to this whole, oh, wait, crap, what was that? That's what I had. Okay. So back to this whole ATF thing. Lying on an application, and I'm going to buy a gun application. Lying on that is a federal offense with fines and jail time. And if any average, everyday United States of America citizen would have done what he did, they would have been fined. They would have gone to prison. You know, the Democrats are always saying that we need stricter gun laws, stricter gun laws, stricter gun laws. I tell you the truth right here. Right there. It's not about the laws. It's about how these laws are executed. It doesn't do any good to have a law that says don't do that, then whenever somebody does it and you don't do anything about it. Doesn't do any good to have a law if you're not going to enforce it. Oh, but they do enforce it. Because if you and I would have done the same thing that Hunter Biden did, they would have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. You know, they want to say that we don't have a two-tier justice system. What do you call this? We don't have a two-tier justice system. And then you have Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden with their mishandling of classified information. And then President Trump and, you know, regardless of anything, okay, let's go to this, okay? I'm just going to rest whatever, because, you know, this is coming back again, the whole declassified or the whole classified document thing that, you know, this is coming up again. Look, he's the president of the United States of America. Or at least he was. He was president of the United States of America. Trump. Like him, hate him, I don't give two shits. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. He has the authority to declassify anything he wants to. And he ain't got to tell anybody. Him just going, it's unclassified. That's all it takes. He's the president. Other people have things they have to do if they want something declassified. Not the president. And none of this has been challenged in court, so they can't do jack diddly about it. They can't do nothing about it. I declassified that. That's fine. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't care who the president is. You know, it's amazing that they haven't gone after and talked about Obama. Why should they? I mean, I got no love for Obama. Politically speaking, I hated the guy. But if he says that he declassified something before taking it, classified or not, you got to take him at his word, because there's no SOP involved in this. There's no standard operating procedure for the president to declassify information. Like him or hate him, I don't care. Two-tier justice system. They want to tell us that, oh, that doesn't exist. And in the meantime, you have Hillary Clinton prosecuted. Nope. Completely and fully guilty, and it was even proven in the court of law. They just chose not to prosecute. Did you hear me on that? Did you hear me? Hillary Clinton investigated, found guilty. Not found guilty. That would be, you know, they prosecuted, but no. The evidence was simple, factual, no argument whatsoever, no question. I mean, the best forensic evidence ever in the history of forensic evidence. She was guilty. The investigation proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Over 300,000 instances of law breaking, you know, one count for each and every document that she mishandled. And she wasn't found innocent on this. They just decided not to prosecute, but yet we don't have a two-tier justice system. Oh no. Y'alls are just smoking crack if you think you got a two-tier justice system. What? This guy shared a classified document with his autobiographer. Oh, we'll send his ass to jail for 10 years. Oh, well, we're leaving Clinton alone. We're leaving her alone. She can do no wrong. She's a Democrat. This guy's a Republican. Screw him, send him to jail. Did this information give out anything? You know, did it put people's lives in danger? Did it give out secrets on technology or anything? Did it actually hurt the administration? Did it hurt anybody? No. Put him in jail anyway. Two-tier justice system. Hunter Biden broke the law, and the ATF is saying, who cares? He's Hunter Biden. Two-tier justice system. Okay. Now we got this. Now we got this other article from 1945, even the same freaking place. That's cool. The Hunter Biden scandal is growing bigger by the second. The presence of Hunter Biden operating alongside top officials of the Obama administration, using those connections to possibly enrich himself and his whole family, is still more proof that the Obama administration was the furthest thing from scandal-free, as the 44th president laughably claims. That's freaking hilarious. That cracks me up. That very much cracks me up. You know, and again, it's that whole two-tier justice system, you know, because who did they never bring into question regarding Hillary Clinton's email scandal? The rest of the administration. Specifically, Obama. Because if she had classified documents on her email, it was sent to her email address. That email address was Hillary Clinton at Clinton.com. It wasn't Hillary Clinton at whitehouse.gov. It was Clinton.com. So they knew everybody who sent her, everybody who received classified documents in their email from or to Hillary Clinton also committed a crime. They participated in that crime. Every single person associated with it. Now, why do you think they don't want to investigate it? Why do you think there's a two-tier justice system? Oh, gee. Biden was complacent. Obama was complacent. All of the rest of the staff was complacent. Generals, who knows? Who knows how many people actually dirtied their hands with the Hillary Clinton email scandal? Do we know the depths of this scandal? No. No, we don't. We don't know names associated with it. We don't know anything. We really don't even have a working number as to how many classified documents there were. We don't know. Two-tier justice system. Mm-hmm. There's a this headline from the New York Post. Oh, it's already up. Cool. Chuck Grassley reveals he's read Biden bribe claim, says FBI offer not good enough. There was a whistleblower that was saying some stuff. You know, he had a document, something of a complaint or whatever it was. I don't even remember. And they went to the FBI to say, hey, we need this document. FBI said no. FBI said no. And it was about it was about a claim that the Biden family, it was a pay for play, that he was bought and paid for, that money was laundered through Hunter Biden that went to Joe Biden to influence, it was influence peddling. Policy. That's what it was talking about. And the FBI is like, we ain't doing anything about this. They ignored it, didn't do jack diddly squat about it, nothing. And with all of the probes that are going on, with all the investigations into the Biden crime family, they're like, this claim from this whistleblower is starting to sound like there might be something there that maybe we should take his, take this claim seriously, because the suspicion is the FBI didn't do anything. They didn't investigate it. They didn't, try to figure anything out. They just seen that, was like, that's ridiculous. Even, and here's the thing, that's kind of what people are saying, that, that's ridiculous. But, in a matter of speaking, it's like, no, they took that piece of paper and they're like, we're not doing anything with that. We're not doing anything with it. Because it was about Biden. The FBI chose a long freaking time ago that they're going to protect Biden. Protect him from whatever, from backlash. From the law, they're going to protect him. And, nothing happening. They decided they're going to protect him, and that's all there is to it. So even, I don't buy the whole, they just didn't investigate it because they didn't think there was anything there. It was such an outlandish claim that, we're not even going to bother with this. I mean, whatever. I don't really buy it. Kind of like, with the FBI and the Hunter Biden laptop, how long before they knew? I would go as far as to say that they knew, like, within a couple weeks of getting a hold of the laptop, that it was legit and that it was extremely, extremely bad for the Biden family. They knew this. What makes me say they knew this? Because, they went to the repair shop to pick up the laptop. Within 2 weeks later, they went back to the repair shop and they asked, do you have any more copies of this? The guy said no. They said, whew. And they left. The guy didn't say whew. I made that up. Do you have a copy? No, I did not. Okay. And left. They knew at that time, this thing is bad. They had verified it, authenticated it. It's the real deal, and it's extremely bad for the Biden family. They knew this within 2 weeks of the freaking thing being sent to them. It's not like they didn't know. Holy crap. Yes, they knew. So they were like, give us this document because we want to read into this. We want to talk to the guy, whatever, give us some names, whatever. And they refused. They said, nah, there's, we looked into this and there's nothing there. And so that's not good enough. I want to see the document. FBI, no, we're not going to let you have it. And it's like, yes, you are. we're Congress. We're the House of Representatives. It's our job to oversee what you guys are doing. You have no choice. Give me the freaking paper. Gave him something redacted. Let him see it in a secure location because apparently it's too bad for, whatever. And, that's not good enough. As Regrassa said, it ain't good enough. You're going to give us the stuff that we need, period. End of story. So I'm kind of curious, though. You have a fight on your hand, and this fight has been going on for a while between, the FBI, the Department of Justice, and Congress that are trying to do these investigations into the Biden family syndicate. They're having issues. Multiple committees, multiple chairs are doing investigations, and they keep running into roadblocks because nobody wants to be cooperative. Nobody wants to be cooperative. Everybody is protecting them. But here's my question, and this is has been my question since day one. We know he's guilty, the entire freaking family. We know it. It's not a question, it's an answer. It's not really a question of, is the president guilty of something bad? Did he take bribes? Which is impeachable. That's like one of the specific things, bribery, high crimes and misdemeanors. That's one of the big ones. He took bribes as vice president. It's been confirmed. We know this. It's not a question. It's a freaking answer. Hello. I don't need to know how corrupt he is. Get him out of the freaking office. Right? Right? Right. Two-tier justice system is what we have. We have protections for the, I don't want to say political class. It's more Democrat class, right? Yeah. Protections. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Where are we going after this? That's funny. All right. We're going to go ahead and take one more quick break. And when I return, sorry, I'm reading over something else. Oh, that's just an is. Okay, anyway. So when I return, we're going to talk a little bit about this public record, transparency and public record bill. We're going to talk about oil production and what to expect next week. Basically, you might want to go get some fuel tonight if you haven't already. Get some fuel because come tomorrow, I'm telling you, gases at the pump are going to go up. Just letting you know. Just giving you fair warning. Go get fuel tonight. Just trust me on this. Do you work at any of the myriad of jobs where you might have to sit on your bum all day? Well, if so, maybe you know what it's like to suffer from the condition known as swamp ass. Well, if so, have I got the solution for you.
Anti-monkey butt powder.
That's right.
Anti-monkey butt powder.
You can use it indoors, outdoors, work or play, or on any occasion when you sit on your bum all day. Don't let your buns get red. Use anti-monkey butt powder instead. Available wherever anti-friction powder is sold. And we're back. How y'all's doing? I am sure you all's heard about the stumble of Joe Biden at the wherever it was he was at. Air Force something or another. And I've seen the video of it. You know, I watched the fall and yeah, you know, he stumbled over a sandbag. At first, whenever I heard that, I was basically told it's like, dude, he didn't stumble over nothing. You know, but it's like, no. You can clearly see whenever they, you know, kind of back out of it a little bit after he hits the ground that, yeah, he stumbled on something. There is a sandbag there. And I got to be surprised with you. You know, I was surprised there was a sandbag just sitting there. It's almost like they wanted him to trip on that. Somebody wanted to make him look bad because, you know, it's like, I'm sorry, whenever you're doing set and stage stuff, that's something that, you know, a sandbag is put there to keep something held down. Okay? That's why they use these. They use them on tripods, on lights, cameras. They use them on, you know, teleprompters whenever they're outside. They want to keep them from falling down. They want to make it a little bit more stable. You know, it's a safety thing to keep something from tipping over and falling on somebody's head. That's what they use them for. This sandbag was just sitting there. Excuse me. This sandbag was just there. You know, it didn't look to me like it was holding anything down. There wasn't anything to hold down. It was just a random sandbag that was just sitting there on the ground. It's like, why? You mean to tell me that with all of the people that was there, everybody said, not my job to pick that thing up and just left it, knowing that the president, you know, it's like a pool in a movie or a window in a movie. If there's a fight scene around a window or a pool, somebody's going through the window, somebody's falling into the pool and getting wet. That's just the rule whenever it comes to movies and windows and pools. You mean to tell me that nobody was like, you know, maybe I should move that sandbag because the president's going to trip and fall and it's going to make him look bad? Nobody thought to move it. Okay. Josh put in there, he goes, going to watch your show again here in a little bit, working like crazy. I get you, man. I get you. Glad to see you, though. Glad to see you out there. So, yeah, you know, it was weird that the stinking thing was sitting there at all. You know, it was weird. And then I seen this headline, and it cracked me up, too. Okay. Kamala Harris is a Biden fall away from being in the Oval Office. And that just kind of scares me a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you. It does, you know, because it's Kamala Harris. She freaking sucks at her job. You know, here she is, the border czar, but she's never been down to the border. She went to Europe. That was awful nice of her. She's not been down to the border. She's not doing a good job at anything. And it's like, you know, but the president is healthy as an ox, right? You know, I mean, that's what that's the Bravo Sierra that they're feeding us, was that, oh, you know, the president's fine. He's doing good. He's healthy as a mule. You know, he's vigorous and whatever lie they threw out there. It's like, dude, he falls upstairs a lot, you know, and that's, you know, not just, you know, I'm not going to hold this fall against him. The whole fall there at the Air Force Academy, you know, no, he wasn't looking down. He tripped over a sandbag. I get it. You know, I get it. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to make fun of him over this. However, the man's got issues. He's got health issues. He's got cognitive issues. I mean, dude, I have hard time Englishing sometimes. I'm sure y'all's have noticed. I'm sure y'all's have laughed your butt off. I know I have. I get amused over my, things where I can't think of something that I really should know what it is that I'm saying. I have a hard time Englishing, but it's not my fault. It's freaking English. Hello. Have you never Englished? I mean, dude, the English language makes no sense whatsoever. Spelling, different things, it makes no sense. Phonetics is a word meaning you sound a word out to figure out how to spell it, but you can't use phonetics to spell the word phonetics. We have, I understand with like a it's not a letter that makes that sound, but you got a it's an F. We have an F. Why are you going to use the PH in there? Whatever. English sucks. I hate it. Anyway. M and C says, hi, ho, ho. What is up, sir? Good to see you over there. Good to see you. So, yeah, Englishing, I suck at it. But with his issues, it goes far deeper than just somebody that has an issue like me. Kamala Harris being that just cracked me up, being a Biden follow away from being in the Oval Office, and I got to be honest with you, one of my predictions did not come true. It did not, because I really thought that 2 years into his presidency, or just after the 2-year mark, MNC says, doing farm stuff. I got you, man. I got you. Farm stuff is busy stuff. But I really thought after that midterm mark, I thought that, he was going to step down. I thought that it was going to be over. He was going to step aside for health reasons, what have you. And Kamala Harris was going to go into being the president of the United States. I mean, that's what my prediction was. That's very much what my prediction was, because, Biden is not in the best of health. I mean, he spent the entire campaign down in the basement hiding from any debate whatsoever. He, hiding from everybody. And now that it's over, what's that thing, Obama, whatever. The COVID stuff is gone. Now that they're finally, lightening up on everything there, that, is he really going to be able to hide in the basement for the next election like he did for the last one, for 2024? Is he going to be able to do a campaign the same way he did the last one? No. I don't see him getting away with it. There's far too many people that are unhappy with how things are going. I'm not talking political class. I'm talking average, everyday Americans that just, they ain't drinking the Kool-Aid like they would hope that they would, and things are not looking good. I mean, Biden's got like the lowest approval rating of, holy crap, it's bad. He's got a horrible approval rating right now. So, yeah, my prediction that he would be out right after the 2-year mark, well, unfortunately, I was wrong. Or fortunately, maybe. I don't know how exactly that would work. A Biden presidency sucks, but a Kamala Harris presidency, whoo. Yeah. All right, so remember how I told you that you might want to go to the gas station tonight? Well, here's that article right now. From NPR. Ooh, I got a sneeze coming. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Whew. From NPR. Saudi Arabia cuts oil production again to shore up prices, this time on its own. And MSC puts in, they're both retarded. You're right. You know, the president and the vice president, yeah, they're both lying, murderous people that ain't got a clue. So yeah, NPR, Saudi Arabia cuts oil production again to shore up prices, and this time on its own. And from this article, they're dropping oil production by like 1 million barrels a day. Where's that at? There it is. Saudi Arabia will now produce 9 million barrels of crude oil per day. The country's Ministry of Energy said that's 1.5 million fewer barrels per day than it was churning out earlier this year. So not 1 million, but 1.5 million fewer a day. And this article actually came out today. So this is from, well, no, this doesn't say today. This says today is June 4th. That was funny. I had a moment. That was great. So June 4th, this article, 6:06 p.m. Eastern Time, Saudi Arabia cuts oil production again to shore up its prices. So prices are going to go up tomorrow. Just so you know. Just so you know. And you know, it didn't have to be like this. It really didn't. It didn't have to be like this. We were energy independent once. Not that long ago. You know, to have a president that goes to Saudi Arabia, goes to OPEC, and begs them to increase production, begs them. Hey, we got an election coming up, and you're really making me look bad. We need to get more Democrats elected. And we're running out of oil in the reserves that I can use to lower the prices. Y'all's got to help me out here. Ooh, our neighbors got horses and we're looking for a wagon. That's awesome. Dude, I like horses. I do. Horses are pretty neat animals. I like them. Well, good luck to you on that wagon. Look at how many horses they got. Now you got me curious. So yeah, we were energy dependent once. You know, we can do it again. And it wouldn't take much to allow drilling, allow land leases, do all that kind of crap again. And why do they even do land leases? I mean, why aren't people drilling on their own property instead of government property, giving the government way too much control over that crap, if you ask me? Way too much control. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway. This article from Between Two Neighbors, Three Horses. Nice. So this article from PBS News. OPEC member countries consider more production cuts as oil prices slump. So not just Saudi Arabia, but Russia even, but OPEC in general, you know. Cutting production, raising the prices. You know, and here's the thing too, guys. Here's the thing, all right? Russia's involved in this too. Why would Russia want to raise oil prices? So because their dollar is based off of oil, and the higher the value of oil, the better their economy does, and they're fighting a war right now. They want oil prices. I mean, dude, do you realize that if we were energy dependent, if we were, I mean, dude, guys, I want you to think about this. All right? Let's follow the train here. I'm going to leave your comment alone for a minute. And you're dadgummit, and you're exactly right. But I'm going to leave your comment alone for a minute. We were energy independent. We crashed the USSR once. We did it. During the Cold War, it was, basically it was, we outspended them. They were trying to keep up with us on different efforts, trying to get to the moon, I believe was one of them. We crashed their economy. We took them down. Ukraine would not be happening right now if Trump was the president. Let me say that again. The war in Ukraine would not be going on right now if Trump was president. And he wouldn't have to lift a finger to do it. He wouldn't have had to have done anything. We were energy independent under Trump. We were a net exporter of energy. We were shipping out more than we were shipping in. We were producing more. We could have put a lot of barrels of oil into the global market, dropping the price of oil and bankrupt Russia. How are they going to fight without any money? They're not going to. He wouldn't have had to lift a finger. But because of Biden's policies, his unwillingness to do, just him being bought and paid for by Russia, by China, by who knows how many other nations. Well, that's why we're in the boat that we're in. So everything that's going on, over there in Ukraine by the hands of Russia, well, that's the Democrats' fault. Pure and simple. It was their policies that has allowed this to go on as long as it has. Because for some reason, we can't make oil even though we're going to do it better, safer, and cheaper than anybody else. Instead, we're going to import it from other places, from countries that hate us, and we're going to bankroll them. There you go. He puts in there and goes, DC Kratz is crashing us on purpose. Yes, they are. Because everything that's going on is by design. The inflation, the U.S., the crashing of different banks. Do you think that's by accident? Are you unaware that World War III has already started? Are you unaware? We are not energy independent. We rely on other countries for everything. We are not a nation that produces anymore. World War II, we produced things. Do we now? No. No, we don't. We assemble things. We're good at assembly. We'll pick up a phone. We'll call people. We'll do that. We have people that flip burgers. We have some farmers. We used to. We used to have all kinds of stuff that we did. We don't anymore. Now we are a consuming nation. We're not a producing nation anymore. So what happens when World War III actually does become hot and turns into more of a global war and less of a Cold War and just starting? When it actually spreads to U.S. borders? Because, guys, I'll tell you what, World War I, we were lucky. World War II, we were lucky. Yeah, we had Pearl Harbor. Yeah, we had, what was that, Wick Island, whatever it was. But the mainland has not been attacked. We've been fortunate. I don't think we're going to be that freaking fortunate this time around. They're playing war games, Korea, Russia, China, all the time on land invasion into the U.S. They're wanting to tear away our guns and strip our Second Amendment. Every single time we turn around, we have to defend the Second Amendment. Our right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed is pretty freaking simple, but yet somehow they can't just leave it the hell alone. Giving us and wanting to take away the only advantage we have. I actually heard a report not that long ago that we have diminished our Navy to the point to where China would have no problem with our Navy at all. We would get our butt handed to us, period. They have, while we're diminishing our Navy, China is building theirs up, and they're getting bold. And what are we doing about it? They had a spy communications balloon go over all kinds of places with sensitive information, and what did we actually do about it? Waited until it was done and then shot it down. Okay. Interesting. We don't produce. Our economy is, the value of the dollar is collapsing. It's crashing. It's going down. Inflation's up huge. Housing market's crashing. Banks are crashing. World War III is knocking at our door. Civil War is knocking at the door. Things are great here in the United States of America, aren't they? Just freaking peachy. M&C put in there, there's a war on the farmer also. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous what we are allowing to happen. It amazes me how many people are like an ostrich, have their freaking head in the sand. It amazes me how few lions we have out there and how many people are freaking sheep. It amazes me. Really does. MSC put in here, he goes, after this month, we can't get antibiotics for our fish anymore. That sucks. This country is on a really, 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 really bad trajectory. And the soonest we have to do anything to quite possibly correct course is in 2025. Without the prescription. And that's assuming that the Democrats don't import enough voters and just allow them to vote after distributing them to red districts and states to where they don't have to do anything nefarious in order to win the election. They will have imported enough votes to do it. Oh, you didn't know that was their plan on why they're letting all these illegal immigrants over here? You didn't know they were doing that to change the landscape, the map, to where another Republican can't win an election, a national election? You didn't know that's why they were doing this? Oh, okay. Yeah. Good times. That's all I got really for you today. Ending on a good note, aren't we? Yes. Gotta love it. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. I do appreciate y'all's hanging out with me and participating. That is awesome. I greatly appreciate it. Head on over to thehohoshow.com. There's a lot going on over there. You know, I do. MC goes, oh, yeah, we knew from the beginning. Absolutely. I knew you knew. I know you know. You know what I'm saying. A lot of stuff going on over there at thehohoshow.com. I've done a lot of work to the website. Still working on it, actually. You know, all kinds of things in there, different places that I am at, places where you can find the podcast and whatnot. I got things that I am needing to utilize more, especially considering I just can't seem to keep my mouth shut on stuff. And I keep getting banned on different places. I try not to do that, but you know what? It happens because they don't like us spreading truth out there. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about truth. So, yeah, head on over there, subscribe to the newsletter, all that other good kind of stuff. Scroll on down to the bottom of the page in order to do that. Subscribe to the newsletter, or at least close to the bottom of the page. But anyway, yeah. Y'all just have yourself a great one. Until next time. This has been The Ho-Ho Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpikle.com. Until next time.